Alright, now I'm making another YouTube video to explain day 4 and day 5, I believe, of my plan to become the heaviest marathon runner. And of course I want to run a sub 2.5 hour marathon while weighing over 220 pounds. So day 4 was a Thursday, which means it was one of the tougher days, so I was doing intervals between 8.5 miles an hour and 6 miles an hour. Good thing about that is I was in fact doing 1 minute and 50 seconds, I believe, for the 8.5 miles an hour pace, which is an improvement over the last time, which was 1 minute and 40 seconds, which is following my progressive overload technique that I've been following and I mentioned before. One important thing about this is that once you get around the 2-minute mark, I mean, I can maintain it for a lot longer. I'm sure I could run the whole mile. It's just that I'm supposed to go down 6 miles an hour for recovery, so it's just supposed to be steady pace. And I'm just getting my heart back into it, because after I gained all the weight, I couldn't maintain it. So, but once you get to around like 2 minutes, which isn't a lot, but I'm just getting back into it, it starts to feel a lot easier, like you're just doing a casual jog. So whereas before, let's say you're running a lot faster, like if I'm running say 13 miles an hour, it can't last very long. You try getting a new record on it, just to push yourself a little bit further than last time, and it's very, very hard to do. You feel like you have no energy. You feel like your muscles are depleted of energy. Maybe I don't have enough mitochondria. I don't know what it is, but it's very painful to actually push further than before. But once you get to about, like I said, as simple as 2 minutes, it feels very easy to push further along because you're just jogging at that point. It's not extremely difficult. So even though I stopped at 1:50, it felt like I could go for a lot longer without stressing too much. I'm just trying to maintain the slow progression for maintainability. But that's the important thing, is that once you get to around this point, it becomes a lot easier to progress in the future. And then before you know it, you're just running that pace easily, like it's, no problem. Until you can run a whole marathon like that. And I did run a decent amount of time. I don't remember what I did exactly, but I was busy that day. I had to leave the gym early. I had to do something at a college, so it wasn't the most cardio, but at least I was maintaining that faster pace. And I will reiterate that the important thing about the progressive overloading is it's not necessarily about being extremely good at lasting. Once you last 2 minutes, you can probably last an hour once you're just a little bit more comfortable with it, because you're going to hit a point eventually where it's just, you may have done 5 minutes, but you're casually jogging at that point. Now it's just about mental toughness. So I would say it wasn't that bad. I don't know what I ran, maybe 40 minutes, and then I had to get out of the gym. But it is notable improvement, at least. When I did this progressive overloading for the running in the past, it worked very well. So I do think that, given that, I will see significant improvements this summer. Hopefully I can run some races before the end, and I'll see what happens. Now, day 5 was today, which is Friday. So June 5th. And now I did work out arms. Usually I say arms don't matter, but it did feel very easy, a lot lighter than usual. I do my regular 70-pound curls, which is always, I'm going a little bit heavier because I want to be able to curl a lot. So definitely not perfect form, but I do want to at least be able to curl 80 pounds, 85 pounds, something like that, with good form eventually. But it felt very easy, where I could just, do reps, and like, not perfect form, but I can get it up pretty easily. And that's it. My arms felt very strong today, which is still important. I do still want strong arms. So I will note that I was feeling very strong today, despite all the running and getting faster. I am able to get stronger simultaneously. After that, I did run. I was doing 6.5 miles an hour for extended pace. I felt light on my feet, springy enough. I did only do like 20 minutes straight in the first one. Again, my heart's just adapting. Once my heart adapts, I'll be able to go for hours, I'm sure. It's just that I'm easing into it again. So I am still hopeful for the future, even if the running's bad, but I'm not going to lie or fabricate any numbers. You know, I did 20 minutes. I could have gone for a lot longer, but decided just to take it easy. When I did the 6 miles an hour, I just went for the whole hour and felt fine. It's a little bit tougher for me. Another reason why I slowed down is just because I felt a little bit of irritation in my hip area. I don't know if it was a tendon, or I don't think it was a bone, maybe tendon. Just a little stressed out. Rule number 1 when you're trying to be a heavy marathon runner is listen to your tendons. You know, running already has a lot of load on the tendons, so when you're trying to do that at say 200 or 220 pounds, or I'm about 220 now, you can injure yourself very easily. And the thing about, so muscles will tell you right away when they're sore, and they're just sore and they're going to recover. But when a tendon is irritated, it might not tell you until you're injured. You know, one of the worst injuries I had was just, I added some slow running to my plan, so it wasn't even that intense, but it did amount to 2 hours of running every day. And, you know, my body felt fine, my muscles felt fine, my tendons felt fine, everything felt fine until randomly I felt pain in my ankle, like near the Achilles area, but the pain was moving around. It was a tendon issue that persisted for several months, and the pain was never even bad. But the reason why I say is because the injury was so deep in my body. It's not like I just snapped something in the moment. It was from doing too much work over time until my tendon just gave out and had an injury. So the number one thing is you have to listen to that. If anything hurts, you kind of have to back off, because to the best of your ability, if you can just do a slower jog, that's fine. If you just have to walk fast, that's fine, but do not run through anything that hurts. So I did do the 20 minutes and I slowed down, but that's fine, just a part of the progressive overloading. Next time I have to do at least 25 minutes and then 30 minutes, and you know, if you hit 30 minutes, you might just go right up to an hour. That tends to happen. And then I can bump the speed up to 7. You know, I used to do 7.5 for the whole hour, so this is much slower than I'm used to, but I'm also a lot heavier than I'm used to. So it's fine, one day at a time. And that's mostly what I had to talk about. Yesterday, I didn't eat a lot, so I'm actually surprised that I was so strong today, because yesterday I was all over the place. I was on college campuses, I was at old employment buildings, I was all over the place. So I really didn't eat all the meals I normally eat. I did eat a lot compared to the average person, but not a lot compared to what I usually eat. So I didn't know if I was going to come into today feeling weak, but I felt very strong. So overall, there is pretty good progress. I'm going to start making a spreadsheet showing how my progressive overloading is going from 1 minute 50 seconds of the faster pace to 2 minutes to 2:15 to 2:30 until I'm just running that for the whole hour, and then I'll increase that interval speed to maybe 10 miles an hour, because of course I have to get down to 2.5 hour marathon. 8.5 miles an hour only comes out to a 3 hour marathon, which is way too slow. But the pace is easy enough that I'm at least casually jogging it, and I can breathe pretty easily, so it's just the first attainable goal that shouldn't be too long in the future, and then 2.5 is just something that'll follow. Maybe I'll go first for 10 miles an hour to get 2 minute 40 second, 2 hour 40 minute marathon, but that's fine. So overall, the running went pretty good. Yesterday, good interval training. Today, I was at least keeping my heart rate up, and I did some biking, so it was a total of 50 minutes of running, and then maybe only 20 minutes of biking. I just do my Duolingo during it, so I'm not too picky about doing the whole thing. So that's all I needed to explain for this video. And again, I'm going to make a spreadsheet and mark everything down in a calendar so I can keep track of what I was doing when, and then I can post those.